Breaking news. There's a Super Bowl contender that's no longer a contender because they've suffered a devastating injury. Obviously, there's been a few victories. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers suffered a loss to New Orleans. The Cowboys,
Get the energy up. Monday.
Get to the good part,
we
too.
Want people to watch.
Let's come on. We're all praying for Derrick Henry. God knows we are.
Yeah.
We are.
What? Saturday.
But let's discuss these Cowboys.
do we have to?
Listen, I'm going to give you a one-time, one-chance offer here today. Right here today for those Cowboys, Stephen. I'm going to give you a one-time, one-chance offer.
Obviously, my week stinks already. First takes in the house.
This is about a great week for you.
Reaching up, making a catch, DK Metcalf! Might play wide open, he'll throw it to him!
Don't drop it, don't drop it. You're in front of everybody, don't drop it.
He's got it! Wentz made a massive mistake! Juggled into the back of the end zone, touchdown Pittsburgh! Fires that pass is intercepted by Phillips. Pick six! Time to throw. Picked off on the right-hand side. Pick six!
Yeah, just threw it to the wrong guy. Cost us a game. You know, we punched him in the face and did what we had to do.
Good morning and welcome to First Take. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm Molly Karam-Rose. To my right is Saddened A. Smith. So good to see you.
Saddened A. Smith. Mark, where you come up with that one from? I like it. I like it.
Why you sit so close to me? Why you sit so close to me?
We have guests coming.
Because we got guests. That's the reason? That's the reason you sit so close? You sure it ain't to just point the finger at me every chance you get?
I'm trying to start my Monday off right. Happy, sunshine, please.
Great
You
day.
look fabulous, the playmaker, Michael Everett. I absolutely love
one of
this
his
whole
better
look.
suits. It's one of his
Fall,
better
mauve tones. It's incredible.
I feel incredible.
Good.
I really do.
So
I
do
feel
I.
incredible.
You know what? And by the
Great
way,
week.
he trimmed his hair a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
that's
goodness.
very good. Okay,
Yeah, I
all
got
right,
people
all
at my
right.
home.
It ain't what you ain't
Can I-
trying to
can
look
I
like
get to the
Don
breaking
King.
news?
I got
Please.
people at
Go
my
ahead.
home
All right.
agreeing with you when I got home.
I
They're
love
like,
that.
He was right,
Yeah.
Michael.
Wife
Get it
is
done.
always right. All right, and breaking news. Adam Schefter tweeting that Derrick Henry, this is
God.
terrible news, suffered a potentially season-ending foot injury in yesterday's game versus the Colts. Henry is undergoing an MRI today to determine the full extent of the damage. That, according to Schefter. Michael, they were just getting hot. They beat the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Colts, and now this. Your reaction?
This is horrible news for the Tennessee Titans. And we talked about it. We talked about getting over that hump, getting past those teams that have given you trouble. And they just went through those teams in the regular season. So they were going to have the most confidence and everything going into the postseason. But to lose Derrick Henry, it's all over. It's over.
It's over.
It's over.
And they're 6-2.
Listen.
Hugely disappointing.
This is a debate show, and obviously we take different points of views. But when the obvious happens, you have to agree. There's nothing to debate here.
Right.
We'll discuss it a little bit later on the show. But Tennessee Titans season's over. Let's call it what it is. This is their running game. Who the hell you gonna have running the ball now? Jeremy McNichols or whatever the hell his name is, the backup? I mean, that ain't gonna work. I think it's Jeremy McNichols. Yeah, it's Jeremy McNichols. I mean, please, come on now. This is Derrick Henry we talking about here. Fresh off a 2,000-yard season, en route to another 2,000-yard season, averaging 4.3 yards a carry, top 5 rushing, top 4 running attack in the National Football League, and he goes down. It is over. The Tennessee Titans, their season, as far as I'm concerned, is finished if this is true and he is out for the year.
Michael, do you like the Colts to catch them in the division now?
Well, listen, let me first hit on this Derrick Henry thing because, everybody always talk about, well, you go find somebody and they can find. No, you can't. First of all, there's certainly no one on the street that can do what Derrick Henry. There's no one in the NFL, if you go take the number 1 back off any other team, that could do what Derrick Henry has done. So it is absolutely over for that football team. Now, we start breaking it down, looking at the whole division.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're going to talk about this. I love Frank Wright, and I like what Frank Wright's doing in Indy. I know we saw some crazy plays in the fourth quarter out of Carson Wentz, but I still like what Indy does and what Indy has and what they're starting to build with their own little set of trips.
Even though you're a professional, a Hall of Famer, as a football player and a professional with television, defer to the elder statesman here. There's nothing to discuss. It's over.
Oh, I thought we were talking Indy now.
We ain't talking about Indy now.
He just wants to get to the Cowboys.
But he's right about it. He's right about
over. There's nothing to talk about with the Tennessee Titans here.
Okay.
I wish Derrick Henry, my brother, I wish him all the best.
And I hope
he's all right. I hope it ain't true. But if it's true, Tennessee Titans, Nashville, Tennessee, a beautiful city, by the way.
I was just there this weekend.
My condolences. My condolences.
Okay. Again, wishing Derrick Henry a speedy recovery and that he comes back better and stronger if this is true. Michael, look at me. How about them Cowboys? Michael Irvin on the road. We're having a moment, okay?
So we got that behind us now.
Wait, without Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush throwing his first NFL pass in 4 years, and they defeat a tough opponent in the Minnesota Vikings. Coach, how are you feeling?
Frankly, at the end of the day, I think this is a great opportunity for us as a football team to grow and win through another adverse moment. We didn't have our leader, we didn't have our starting quarterback out there, and we went out and won a tough game in a hostile environment on the road. So it was a great opportunity for us, and I definitely feel like we made the right decision.
Michael, this is big. This is big. Are the Cowboys winning the Super Bowl? Let's just go there.
And here again, what we worried about, we just got peace about. Our greatest pain, we just got a great peace about. The greatest pain was going to be what happened if something happens to Dak.
Yes.
Oh, my God. Did you see that? Now, let's talk about what we saw, Stephen A., in the win that we saw, the WIN that we saw in that moment. Did you know, there's so many great stories in here. The Cooper Rush story.
Yeah.
Wait, Stephen A., I saw you do a beautiful thing over on HBCU and FAM and all. That was beautiful. That was beautiful because I know how you like to inspire people. You like to lift people, not just talk to them for a moment, but you want to give them something that they're going to walk out and live on for the next 10, 15 years of their life. That's what I love about you, Stephen A. The Cooper Rush story is that. Cut by America's team in 2020. Re-signed by America's team. Nobody gave this man a chance in yesterday's game. And in his first career start, he becomes the first player to toss for 300 yards and the winning touchdown in under a minute. No one else has ever done that. Send that story out to all the young men and allow those young men who has had setbacks to be inspired by that. That's a great story, but that's not even the story. He did it without a running game because you would think that, okay, that's out. They're going to lean on the running game. They're going to lean on the running game. The running games, he only had 50 yards, Paul, at 26. I mean, they had 78 yards rushing. That was not even the answer. It was not even about the run game. And even though the rush story is a great story, the real story is that defense. Oh, my God. Did you see what that defense did? I mean, we know what we got on offense. We know you had two receivers go over 100 yards, two, with a backup quarterback. I think he was a backup to the backup, but he's a backup quarterback and went in and got it done. You saw offensive linemen go down, and they brought another lineman in, and it kept moving the train. That was important. Because going into that game, the Vikings had the most sacks, tied with the Chicago Bears for the most sacks. So it's not like they couldn't get to the quarterback, but the Dallas Cowboys took care of business, man. Mm-hmm. And as I said, that defense was the key to everything. Didn't have any turnovers, but they held them. On every board you go in the NFL, it says right on the board, defensive goals is to hold the team under 17 points. You only under 17 points, you win.
Yeah.
The Dallas Cowboys defense did their job. And that's the story yesterday. Mm-hmm. Dallas Cowboys defense and Cooper Rush. Yeah. Stephen A., Just go and give them love, man. And I want to give you this one last time offer. This is the one-time offer. You can take it right now.
Hold on. Before you give the offer,
what's your offer?
Are you saying that the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl?
Stop. I told you that last week. This was affirmation and confirmation. What people love.
She just asked the question. I didn't hear the answer to the question. That's why I just wanted clarity. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Absolutely, they're going to win.
They're going to be at SoFi.
Absolutely.
They're going to be in LA. We're all going to be in LA.
What one-time offer you going to make?
All you've done to bring pain and hurt and shame to the Cowboys nation. This is it right here one time. Here's the bus. We have one seat. You denounce all your hate for the Cowboys right here, right now. You offer a love, you get down on one knee, and you ask Cowboy Nation to marry you. And we'll let you on this wagon. It's a one-time offer. And if you don't take it now, you will be in that cheerleading uniform cleaning my house.
Are you finished? Finished?
I forgot you made that bet.
You will be in that cheerleading uniform cleaning my home, bro.
We ain't getting no damn cheerleading.
Oh, yes, we did. A maid outfit. Don't be
made outfit.
A maid outfit.
It's kind of similar. It's a little skirt.
I'm a man. I will never wear a dress. I ain't Russell Westbrook either. I ain't wearing no dress. Here's the deal.
Take that offer, buddy. I love you.
Let me say this to you, Michael Irvin.
Take that offer.
I'd walk to Texas before I take that offer. There's no way in hell I'm taking that offer. You understand what I'm saying?
What?
You Cowboy fans out there could kiss my you-know-what. I can't stand y'all, but you got me. You got me right now because you see, here's the deal. I can't say anything. You got a top 5, you got a top 2 rushing attack, you got a top 3 passing attack, you're number 1 in yards, you got a top-rated offense. I told you the night he was drafted when you were screaming with him on Instagram, Micah Parsons is that dude. 11 tackles, quarterback hits. I mean, this brother's a monster. He's something special. By the way, it ain't just Trevon Diggs that's a Defensive Player of the Year candidate in my mind. Micah Parsons is as well. You got not one but 2 Defensive Player of the Year candidates on the Dallas Cowboys defense. I feel you on that. I'm not hating. I got it. I understand. I listened to you bloviate that nonsensical stuff that you threw. I'm going to ask a question before I get a bit further, okay? Are the Green Bay Packers going to be in the playoffs?
Yes, they are.
Are the Los Angeles Rams going to be in the playoffs?
Yes, they are.
Are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to be in the playoffs?
Yes, they are.
Okay? So we got those 3. Are the Arizona Cardinals going to be in the playoffs?
Yes, they are.
Okay, that's 4 teams, okay? Yeah. At least 4 teams, okay? Where am I going with this? I watched this dude, and I just want to say on the airwaves, on the national airwaves, Kirk Cousins is useless. I'm done with him. And I'm
7.7% on third down.
When you have an opportunity to make plays, you can't do it. You score a touchdown, Mr. $84 million in guaranteed dollars from years ago. This man scores a touchdown on opening drive, and the next thing you know, all you can register the rest of the way is 3 field goals against a backup quarterback. Okay, against a backup quarterback. This is who Kirk Cousins is. Kirk Cousins is good enough to tease you into believing you got a chance to win games you usually ain't going to win because he's not that guy. But here's where I'm going with all of this. I'm looking at the Dallas Cowboys, and this is why I'm disgusted. Because, see, I despise Cowboy fans.
This is cathartic for you.
I despise Cowboy fans. I don't consider you a Cowboy fan because you are 3-time Super Bowl champion for the Cowboys. So you ain't a fan. Even though you're a fan, you're not really a fan. You know you got credentials. These Cowboys, how about them Cowboys are black, white, Hispanic, old, young. I mean, everything doesn't matter. And here's the deal. I got to listen to this, and this is why you see this look on my face. Because I'm disgusted because of what I got to listen to. This is their schedule, Molly. Stay with me.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Denver Broncos.
I told y'all this.
Talking about Atlanta Falcons. Kansas City Chiefs, horrid defense. The Raiders at home. Okay, New Orleans now in all likelihood without Jameis Winston. We pray that's not true, but it looks bad for him. Okay, then you got the Washington football team. Not only do you not have a quarterback, he's a muffler. You don't even have a name. Okay, then you got the New York Giants. Don't get me started with that. Then the Washington football team again. You don't have a competitive game in my estimation until January 2nd. So it's entirely plausible that the Dallas Cowboys can run the table or lose just one game the rest of the way, end up 15-2, number 1 seed. Now, that's the bad news. Here's the good news. Here's the good news for me.
I mean, you got to
Here's the good news for me. Here's the deal. Here's the good news for me. You guys historically are allergic to prosperity. And what do I always say? What can go wrong will go wrong. Just be patient. Just wait. Unfortunately for me, I have to endure the holiday seasons, Thanksgiving and Christmas before your comeuppance arrive. But I want to state for the record, it will arrive. You ain't going to sci-fi with the Cowboys. I promise you that. It's not going to happen. You will fall. It will be precipitous. It will be violent. It's going to be catastrophic. And I know that I'm going to have a good new year. I'm just upset because I got to wait 2 months before my glory comes when I watch y'all fall flat on your face. But it will happen. This schedule, this cupcake schedule, it'll put my sister Carmen's cook in the shade. That's how cupcake this is. This is ridiculous. This schedule right here, it ain't their fault. But it will happen.
Dalvin Cook going into that game against Dallas. Dalvin Cook has had some great games against
Dalvin Cook had barely been playing because he was injured the previous few weeks.
But going into that game, boy, he was averaging 100 yards rushing, 65 yards receiving against Dallas Cowboys. They had him 78 yards rushing.
Listen, man,
I'd like to move on.
They said we're going to dare Kirk Cousins to beat us, which he usually will not do.
And he could not. And those are two great receivers that Dallas defense
Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up.
We can wrap it up. We can wrap it up.
Did you get everything out? You feel a little better now?
Wait a minute. So you definitely are not taking that off.
I will walk.
To come over with the champions.
I will walk from New York. I will walk from New York to Texas before I get on that bus.
And you do know everything's going to go through Dallas. I'm going to go cut another new hype video for the big screen on the playoffs. Oh, my God. We going to be so ready. I'm going to start working on that Get Hype video right now.
With a major win
I'm going to work on my new Get Hype video.
Former Charger Adrian Phillips, fourth quarter pick six, seals the game for the Pats, who secure an impressive road win at Sci-Fi. Our quarterback, Dan Orlovsky, is here.
Come on here,
Can I get the offer that he rejected?
Dan, I'm going to put you on that bus, baby. You get a chance to get on that bus.
Let's go.
Come on that bus,
I'm taking the offer.
You going to take that seat?
I'm going to take that seat.
Well, it's
like
over
this,
now.
like this.
Now you can't get on. The bus is full. The bus is full. It's your seat. Let's take that seat.
I'm on.
I love you, buddy.
Hi, Dan.
You should have taken that offer, buddy.
All right, let's talk about these Patriots. Gentlemen, last week you said you think New England can make a run, and then we saw what they did against the Chargers. But I want to start with you, Stephen A. Have you changed your mind? Do you think New England can make a run now?
No, I still don't feel that way. I mean, listen, if I changed my mind, it would be modified only because of the Derrick Henry injury that's obviously going to take Tennessee out of the mix in my estimation.
That's one.
So if that is what I'm holding it on, then yeah, you could get one of those last seeds. I'm just not a believer in New England as of yet. I think that next season they're going to be much better and thereafter. This particular season, when I think about it, I think about Buffalo. I think about Baltimore, Cincy, even though Cincy, boy, what a disappointment they were yesterday. Listen, I think 3 teams from the AFC North could get in before New England. And then you've got, obviously, the South. And then, of course, the West, I still have not given up on Kansas City. They will win the night over your New York Giants, by the way. Of course, the Raiders are there as well. And the Chargers are going to be relevant, too. So I look at those teams as being teams that would be ahead of New England, and that's where I'm at with it.
You just said the Chargers? The Chargers?
I know they lost.
I know.
They went on a cross-country flight.
I know.
And went and beat them up.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. So the fact that Bill Belichick ran circles around Justin Herbert doesn't matter.
No, I'm not. If you talk to me about the Chargers meeting the Patriots in a head-to-head matchup because of Bill Belichick's greatness, I got you. I'm saying they're not facing one another again until the postseason, and I think the Chargers will end up getting there before the Patriots. I'm not saying
even though the Chargers are in a significantly harder division.
Yes.
And then the Patriots. I think the Patriots are a team that is primed to not only get into the playoffs. First of all, let me say this. I think the Patriots are making the playoffs. Okay. I think yesterday's win secures that. They're defensively playing the 2019 version of defense. I'm telling you, yesterday Bill Belichick put that offense for Los Angeles in a blender. He ran circles around it. And then you're looking at New England's run game and going violent, physical run game. Hat on a hat run game. Mac Jones... The Patriots are not going to lose games this year because Mac Jones is going to give them away. He makes such good decisions with the football on a consistent basis. They play fast. Josh McDaniels has got that offense, like, understanding. I don't see a lot of teams in the AFC. I will say this. I don't see a lot of teams in the AFC that I feel really confident about being able to go head-to-head and beat New England. The Bengals, I'm telling you, still have offensive line issues.
Right.
I love them. They got offensive line issues. The Colts loss yesterday is brutal to their chances. Brutal. I know we're going to get into that. Brutal to their chances. And if I'm looking, the Steelers are playing good football. Cleveland's loss is devastating. Buffalo did not play great yesterday. I still think they're the best team of football. The Patriots are going to make the playoffs, and it's because their defense and their rookie quarterback's playing so good.
Man, when you look into it and going into yesterday's games, the Patriots had beaten all rookie quarterbacks and lost to every other quarterback. That wasn't a rookie quarterback. That was the first non-rookie quarterback to beat yesterday and beating Justin Herbert. And I said, okay, this team, man, you got to give Bill credit. I mean, he coaches them so well.
Yeah.
They don't beat themselves. They don't make mistakes. And then you mentioned it. It's a physical football game.
Punch you in the mouth.
It's a physical football game. That's why when I talked about a couple weeks ago when the Cowboys were going there, you got to go play dirty football.
Yeah.
They're not going to hand you those games. That being said, man, and coming into this year, I thought, no way. Because we were looking at Kansas City at the top of the heap, right? And then, okay, everybody else fighting on that scrap heap to get up top and beat Kansas City down. But now that AFC doesn't look like that. I'm not all the way over across there saying, yes, New England will go on a run. But I can see why you're making the argument with the AFC, the top of the AFC, looking like it looks right now. Why you could make that argument because they are a good, well-coached physical
They are, and I'll
team.
give that to them. But here's where I'll just defer to y'all, but I'll just share my thinking. I think that as the season progresses, less teams beat themselves.
Yeah.
You have to beat them.
Right.
Yeah. You have to beat
better
them.
teams
Yeah.
in the
And then I
playoffs,
think
right.
that when I look at the New England Patriots offensively, to me, they don't take the step where they beat you. Defensively, they make you make mistakes. And obviously, you end up beating yourself. What's the number one thing you all say that Bill Belichick preaches time and time and time again? Do your job, don't beat yourself.
Right.
Those two parts. The point that I'm trying to make to you, we can look at Justin Herbert yesterday with his 2 interceptions, and we could say that about him. We could look at several games with New England this year where that has happened. I'm saying that as the season progresses, I don't anticipate that'll be the case. You got not 1, but 2 games against Buffalo. You got a game at Indy. You got a game at Indy. I'm just looking at some of their schedule, Carolina, Atlanta, stuff like that. I'm just looking at that, and I'm saying I could see them losing 7 to 8 games.
I came up with 8 and 9.
And I don't think that'll be enough.
I came up with 8 and 9.
I think they're going to have a winning record. I think they're going to have a winning record.
Wait, let's establish that. What record are we saying you believe will be able to get in? You say 9 and 8 will get you in?
No, I think they're a
10-7.
10-7, 11-6 football team. I really do.
And I think they're 9 and 8. And I think they're 9 and 8.
I'll ask you guys this because I think there's one team in the AFC that I feel definitively is confidently better than the Patriots. That's the Buffalo Bills. I don't feel like Cincinnati is a definitive better or the Pittsburgh Steelers are a definitive.
I think Baltimore is definitively better.
With that defense?
Yeah.
That defense, Baltimore's got issues on their defense. And how sustainable is it that Lamar is just going to play these lights-out football games week? That's what happened with Cincinnati last week. I don't think the Chiefs are definitively better. I don't think the Raiders are definitively better. The Chargers proved yesterday that they're not. I think there's one team that is definitively better. That if I had to say I'm picking them over New England, the only team in the AFC that I think confidently, in my opinion, I could say yes, Buffalo Bills.
I think any team that can put up points can beat New England. I'm saying because anybody that forces New England to put up points.
So who in the AFC is that in your opinion?
I think, to me, believe it or not, I still think Buffalo. I still think Baltimore. I still think Cincinnati. I still think even
Kansas City, too.
I still think Kansas City.
We're writing them off too soon.
Kansas City's got to fix the issues that they got to fix. Until they do
And then we'll see them tonight.
Especially with Bill.
Correct.
Bill's going to feed right into the issues that Kansas City have with all those disguises and coverage.
Correct. Same with Cincinnati's offensive line.
By the way, Kansas City on ESPN tonight.
That's why I'm not willing to say Kansas City.
New England's going to win 10 games this year.
All right, according to our analytics, they have a 52% chance to make the
least.
playoffs. Dan will be back with us in just a bit. Still to come, the latest, so many injuries. Jameis's injury, which...
Yeah, he's limping, and that is not a good look.
For the last now 3 seasons, we've been in this situation. It's not new to our team. I do know that we are capable of winning.
Throws it to Alex Armah, who makes the catch and makes the touchdown.
Brady throwing toward the end zone, and Evans makes the catch. Touchdown.
That one is picked off, and it's going to be a touchdown, New Orleans.
Tough to win that way. I got to not throw interceptions. I mean, I think it was just important that we came out and we punched them in the face and did what we had to do. It is what it is.
Ooh, it got wild in the NFC South. The Saints outlast the Bucs 36-27 and narrow the lead in the division to a half game. New Orleans is becoming Brady's kryptonite in the regular season. Sean Payton says Jameis Winston dealing with a significant knee. C is here. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Let me just say really quick, Stephen A., and I won't spend a lot of time here, but we need to give a shout out to the FAMU students.
Absolutely.
And how they showed out. What a crowd. Absolutely incredible.
They were
Thank
sensational.
you so much. You made
really
it so
was.
much fun
Thanks
for us.
to them. Thanks to Will Packer for making it happen.
Absolutely.
Thanks for Kevin Hart.
Yep.
And thanks to my man, RC Ryan Clark. He had to be there. He was there for us to appreciate
It was a great
Absolutely.
time.
Everyone behind the scenes, for sure. Right. Are we sleeping on the Saints?
Ooh, like yes and no. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Wait, let's back this up. When I'm asking this question, are we sleeping on the Saints? Are you considering that they're not having Jameis or that they will have Jameis?
I'm considering that they're not having Jameis now going forward.
Yep.
But even in that, one. By the way, where's my camera? Guess who picked the Saints on Friday? Kevin Hart. No. Stephen A. No. RC. Yes. I can still come back to the crib. I will see y'all on Bourbon, and I'll see y'all at Drago's when I get there.
That's why it don't count, because you were just being a homer.
So what? I was
You were
right.
just being a homer.
And I was right.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but you were just being a homer.
Don't
You
let
was
him
gonna
get
go
you with that,
That's
dog.
right.
I'm
That's right.
not worried about
get you
Stephen
with
A.
that.
No, it's very, very important to bring that up, because he did it because he knew he had to go home and he didn't want to hear it. So even if he lost, he would have been like, I was there with y'all, and they would have said, all right, bro, you picked us. Nah, that don't count. That don't count.
I'm not trying to go to the Superdome. I'm just trying to go to my mama's house.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but when you look at the Saints, the one thing we know about the Saints, especially when it pertains to Tom Brady and Tampa Bay, they ain't scared. Right? We watched this 2 times in the regular season last year. Even in the playoffs, it was the Tampa Bay defense that confused and picked off Drew Brees that allowed them to beat the New Orleans Saints. I think the Saints are a good football team. I think the Saints are very good defensively. But where do you go from here?
Yeah.
Right? We watched Jameis Winston as the quarterback, and it was about checkdowns. It was about being smart, not turning the ball over, and relying on the defense. With Trevor Siemian, who was good in Denver, Stephen A., I don't see them progressing to be a playoff
Well, see,
contender.
unlike you, I don't dance like that. You gave me their dances. I don't do that. I'm going to get right to the point. Hell no. You know what? They ain't going nowhere. Let me tell you something right now about the New Orleans Saints. Well, I mean, what exactly is the question?
Before yesterday, they weren't going nowhere, or no?
I still feel that way. When you sit up there and you talk about the Saints, they ain't scared of Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Well, they weren't scared in last year's playoffs either. What happened? They waxed them both times in the regular season.
Yeah.
What happened when it really counted?
So only
they
Super
went
Bowl
down.
matter now,
No.
Stephen A?
I'm saying they went down. I respect the hell out of the Saints, and I respect the hell out of Sean Payton. I'm looking at a team that won, but they only scored 13 points against Seattle.
Right.
Lost, but they only scored 7 points against Carolina. Beat the Giants, but scored 21 points. There are times their defense is very, very reliable. It's a top 5 defense. We know what they bring to the table. Their offense is a huge, huge question mark, and that was with Jameis Winston. Now he's a bit hobbled, and we pray that he's going to be all right, and he'll be back. But we don't know what that status is. Taysom Hill's still in concussion protocol. Okay, and so what you're looking at this situation right now. They got some huge questions. They had questions to begin with their offense because of the quarterback play and Michael Thomas not being there. He's supposed to be coming back, but still, it's really been an Alvin Kamara show. That's really what it was about. Certainly, you're anticipating that Michael Thomas is going to come back. But his greatness, and I'm not questioning his greatness, please don't get me wrong, but his entire career has basically been spent with Drew Brees. We don't know what that chemistry is going to be like with a different quarterback. So I'm looking at New Orleans right now. I got serious questions about their offense, and as a result, I got serious questions about them.
Yeah, and I question a lot of things. First of all, going into the week, the top 5 teams in the National Football League came from the NFC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I would say still, those are still the top 5 teams. I had the Packers, Buccaneers, Cards, Rams, and Cowboys are still the top 5 teams right now. So to say that anyway,
that's the hard part.
The Saints are going to crack that lineup. It ain't happening, and especially unfortunately with what happened with Jameis Winston. Now you brought up an important factor, Michael Thomas. And what kind of marriage could that have been with Jameis Winston and Michael Thomas? And I thought that was the one saving grace for Jameis Winston was Michael Thomas. But Jameis had been checking the ball. He's been taking care of the ball best he can, but he didn't have him. Now, when you get Michael back, you may not have Jameis back.
Right.
So it's just it's a hard road to go when you're talking about you're going to have to match points with those teams that I just brought up in the NFC, and you don't have a receiver or that kind of a combination to make plays.
I'm gonna tell you what, playmaker.
But now I'm gonna tell you something.
You got
winning
questions?
that game yesterday. That's because in this NFL, it's about matchups, and they match up great.
So here's the thing. You got questions
the
about the Saints? I do not have questions about this outfit. I'm gonna have to give it to you, man.
Okay.
Today.
He won today. He's got the crown.
Yeah,
it's not
today
even close.
you brought a different element.
You shut it down.
I thought that. And let me tell y'all something though, because all y'all conservative too. See that's how y'all work on me too. Every time I wear a conservative suit, you try to tell me, oh, you look good. So now I'm supposed to put all my bright colors and all that away. I'm not doing it. So don't try to work me on the back door.
I'm giving you a compliment, playmaker.
How is that conservative? You've got two patterns. You got a tie pin.
Hold on.
I mean, come on, a lot's happening.
I ain't playing with y'all. I ain't playing with y'all.
You came with it today.
Where the hell have you been conservative? No. Exactly. You not been. I mean, I've seen you with yellow. I've seen you with orange. I've seen you. I mean, Kevin Hart got on me about my patterns. I mean, my God, your patterns.
You did have 3 or 4.
And I've seen him with 7 on one. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, you got to be crazy. Don't start nothing. Ain't nobody doing anything to you. You did it to yourself. Now let me get back to New Orleans.
Wait. I do have a question about New Orleans. Do you think that they should call Cam?
Yes, I do. And because
absolutely not.
Thank you, Ryan.
May I finish my answer, please?
Yes.
Your disrespectful self.
I thought you said you deferred.
I said wait.
You said
I said wait. Okay. Here's the deal. I say Cam because Jameis is hurt.
Yes.
Okay.
And Taysom Hill, man, he's been in concussion protocol since week 5.
So is Cam the backup, or does he become the starter, Stephen A?
Well, I don't know. I mean, last day, who you going to go with? Who you had last night? So you go with that again until further notice.
Right.
Because obviously he won a game for you. But what I'm saying to you is that
Simeon.
you're Trevor Simeon. So all I'm saying is you got a situation where you don't even know if you're going to have 2 quarterbacks.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to get
Not what goes on with Taysom Hill is one thing. But I already got Cam and Taysom Hill. So when I'm getting Taysom Hill back, I don't want talent. And I know Taysom Hill's personality matches the locker room. I don't know if Cam's will. And I can't disrupt my locker room right now.
I'm a Cam fan. I want Cam to have a job. I think Cam deserves to have a job.
Me
he
too.
can be a backup.
So do I.
He doesn't deserve the job, or he doesn't need to be the guy in New Orleans. You forget what Trevor Simeon was in Denver. And we also can't underestimate what Sean Payton has been able to do with backup quarterback.
Even what he's done with Jameis, taking care of the football.
You think about Jameis, right? You go back to Taysom Hill last year, Teddy Bridgewater 2 years ago. That 5-year span got him a job.
What saddened day?
Jameis Winston may not be back.
Right.
Taysom Hill. We don't know if
he's not coming back, then I'm changing my mind too.
Okay, that's all I'm
if
saying.
He's not coming back. If he's not coming
you don't have anything.
Stephen A, from a guy that said himself, my personality was too big to be a backup. He said it. And listen, I'm rooting for Cam. I think Cam is good enough to have a job in his league.
He also said that he wasn't interested in taking the vaccine. Changed his mind, didn't he? See, unemployment can do this.
There you go, man.
You ain't never been unemployed.
How do you know?
A little time away changes
Do your homework.
You're right about that, Stephen.
The point is, unemployment can do things to you. The brother didn't want to take the vaccine. He's vaccinated now. And not only is he vaccinated, hey, Ryan, it wasn't like the brother was vaccinated, right? And we found out. No, he announced it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, look at me. I did it.
You made a very good point. And thank you for your testimony on unemployment. I can't imagine Stephen A. with spare time.
It's the truth.
Still ahead on First Take, Browns yet another painful loss as the Pittsburgh Steelers overcame losing kicker Chris Boswell for the entire second half with a concussion in a 15-10 win on Sunday. Here's Baker on who's to blame for the L.
It's on all of us. Everybody's going to point fingers at a few plays, but the fact is we just didn't get into a rhythm today. And Jarvis is a veteran guy. He's one of our best leaders. We all have to take ownership. This doesn't just fall on him at all, by any means. You know, there was a lot of throws I could have made today. There were plays we should have had. Plain and simple.
There's leadership up there. That's leadership.
Dan Orlovsky back here with us. I guess I'll start with you because somebody's all sorts of inspired and motivated on a Monday, Motivation Monday. Michael, how much blame does Baker deserve?
Listen, man, we cannot throw all of this on Baker. I go back to the original thought that I've had about this situation in Baker, and I said, yes, Baker can guide this team, but we keep coming back to wanting him to carry this team. No, they didn't show. This is the #1 rushing attack in the NFL, and didn't show up yesterday. We didn't see the #1 rushing attack. You hear that the leadership taking responsibility, so his main man Jarvis Landry don't go home and fill in the dumps by watching that because he's already feeling bad. Because you know Jarvis Landry, he's a fighter. He makes those were aggressive mistakes. You don't want to see aggressive mistakes. But I want to see aggression. I want to see him be physical. I want to see him try to get that extra yard. You know, I want him to hold on to the ball. You know what I mean? Those are the drops. Those drops he doesn't usually do. So, no, I do not put all of that on Baker Mayfield. I expect the guys around him to play their role, and they failed at playing their role yesterday, which does make his role much more difficult. I understand we see great quarterbacks, and they raise up people, and they raise up the play. That's not where Baker is right now. Now, Baker has raised up the play, and guys like Rashard Henny, those guys are playing better. But we're asking him to control and lead when I say he has the ability to guide, but only guide when everybody else is doing their job.
You're right. I don't disagree with what you're saying about yesterday's game. And I saw you on Get Up a bit earlier this morning, and I don't disagree with you in terms of
96 rush yards.
Landry had a couple of dropped passes, plus he had a fumble. We all know that. Odell Beckham Jr., 1 reception for 6 yards. I mean, my God. Listen, it's pretty bad. There's no question about it. We get all of that. You got Njoku in the lineup. You got Hooper there. You got Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. Still, you only throwing for 225 yards. You got Nick Chubb back in the lineup, even though Kareem Hunt isn't there, but you still got a stud at the running back spot that averaged nearly 4 yards a carry. When you're talking about yesterday's game, I don't disagree with what y'all are saying. But I'm not letting Baker Mayfield off the hook for this reason. And when I say I blame Baker Mayfield, because I am blaming him to a large degree, I'm not talking about yesterday. I'm talking about the season thus far. And what I mean by that is this. You're 4-4 right now. You're a 500 team. You know why you're a 500 team? When all is said and done, that's a very average record, right? Because we have a very average quarterback. That's what we have. And I'm not talking about just his ability to throw the football. He talked about putting it on him. I'm not talking about this game. I'm talking about the season. He talked about putting it on him. When we talk about football, Dan Orlovsky, Michael Irvin, this is what y'all say. Y'all talk not just about somebody's ability to throw. Y'all talk about somebody's ability to make plays. Y'all talk about somebody's ability to do it in the clutch. And you also talk, particularly from the quarterback position, about one's ability to inspire and galvanize. Right. And so when I look at the body language of a Jarvis Landry, and I look at Odell Beckham Jr., who's just praying to get the hell up out of there, okay? When I'm looking at this team and a defense is saying we got to do something because we don't have but so much faith in this offense, who am I to point to? I can look at Kevin Stefanski, and I get all of that, but I can also look at Baker Mayfield. And what I'm saying to you is that when you come out, Dan, and you say, well, Baker Mayfield wasn't at fault yesterday, you got us. You're absolutely right. But if we take into account what the expectations were for the team coming into the season, the role that particular quarterback was going to play. See, I watched Dan Orlovsky because I like how he uses the big board, especially when he tries to talk about me. You understand what I'm saying? I like when he tries to do it, so I'm looking at him and waiting to see if he's going to try to start something.
I'm going to jump all over this.
And you know what I saw Orlovsky say? I saw Orlovsky say more than a week ago, the most disappointing team in the entire NFL was the Cleveland Browns.
Stand by it.
And what I'm saying is, you can't say that and let Baker Mayfield off the hook because he's the quarterback. He's right in the middle of it. That's all I'm trying to say. I leave the particulars to you, but I'm taking a macro perspective because I don't know the micro perspective the way that you do. From a macro perspective, you don't get to call them the most disappointing team in the NFL, but then in the same breath a week later, you're like, well, I'm going to give Mike Baker Mayfield a pass.
Dan, you got an answer for that?
I'm going to rip apart this argument. First of all, if I were the Kansas City Chiefs and the New Orleans Saints, I would call the Browns and see if they'll trade Odell Beckham. I think the Browns need a trade.
What about the Packers?
Packers are in there as well.
Yeah.
I would put them in that
He'd love to go to the
conversation.
Packers. Yeah.
Trade Odell to get what?
Something on the defensive side, because that is the reason why they're the biggest disappointment in football. That's why they're a 4-4 football team. This team has 2 losses this year when they scored 30 and 42. Lost 2 games this year when they
Chargers
scored 42.
47-42.
And the Chiefs.
And the Chiefs.
In week 1.
That's right.
They're not a 4-4 football team because their quarterback is playing with one arm and playing tough yesterday all season. They're a 4-4 football team because all the money and all the draft picks that they spent on the defensive side of the football have been an absolute and utter failure. To lose 2 games in the NFL when you score 30 and 42 is a failure. Baker Mayfield's been playing with one arm. Yesterday does matter because I thought, and I tweeted this out, Baker Mayfield, this is the biggest drive in your career. I fully expected him to go lead them down for a game-winning drive. But he got let down by his stars. That matters because sitting at 5-3 when your quarterback plays with a broken arm or a broken shoulder is a significantly different feeling than when you're sitting at 4-4. Landry's got 3 drops in the fumble. Higgins had the drop. Odell goes one-armed. Austin Hooper had the drop.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh scored 15 on you, and that was with the fake field goal. That went bad. The defense has let down this football team. Baker Mayfield is not to blame for that football team losing that game yesterday, nor for that team being 4-4. That defense has been an utter failure.
Excuse me. A few weeks ago, I will remind you, Dan Orlovsky,
yes,
that you were on this show.
Yes.
We talked about Odell Beckham Jr.
Yes.
And you talked about how he needs to get traded. You talked about how open he was on several occasions.
Chargers game,
and how Baker Mayfield was not finding that man. Why do I bring that up? He's got a reception for 6 yards. We're having questions. Does Odell Beckham Jr. have it anymore? Is he about to be out of this league?
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't he need to be moved, et cetera, et cetera? You yourself admitted that has something to do with Baker Mayfield. Where's the chemistry issue? You're the quarterback. If I'm looking at you, right, excuse me, what is the deal? You're not just the quarterback, you're a leader. So when I look at teams, when I look at players, sure, I'm going to hold them accountable for not getting it done because everybody's got a job to do. We are professionals, you get paid. I understand that. But the flip side to it is that when you think about the game of football, which you played, and obviously you played, and you know it the way that you know it, if you got a quarterback that in essence has basically demoralized you for whatever reason. The chemistry is not there. The cohesiveness is not there. You don't even want to be his teammate, et cetera, et cetera. I got to look at you. Years ago, when Donovan and T.O. was getting into it and all of this other stuff, what did we point to? You took T.O.'s side or you took Donovan's side. But you still pointed to the relationship and saying, how could y'all let this happen? Because you're a Super Bowl contender. Everybody's accountable for this. And I'm saying to you, you can't let Baker Mayfield off the hook with that. Certainly they dropped passes yesterday. But the bottom line is there have been times this season where if this dude had the kind of relationship with his players that you would expect from a starting quarterback, those issues might not have occurred. You can't ignore that.
And I agree with you, Dan, on those games where they score 35 points and lose games or giving up 35, 40 points. I agree with you. They gave them 15 points yesterday. Now, Dan, you've been in all of these meeting rooms. I just told these people in every defensive meeting room it's 17 points or under. You see that on the defensive goal board. They had 15 points. Now, so I can't put all that on the defense. Right. At 15 points.
Oh, Mike, I got one.
That's pretty good right there if you can hold
Mike, let me help you. Last 4 weeks, Dan, since that 42, other than the 42 against the Chargers, they've scored 14 against Minnesota, 14 against Arizona, 17 against Denver, and 10.
All right, I'll leave it on
this. 4 games in 5 weeks.
The Browns are 4-4 because their defense has been a disappointment. The Browns lost yesterday because everyone around Baker Mayfield let him down.
Okay.
That's a fact.
You blew through the stoplight. You're lucky I like you, Dan. Still ahead on First Take is Stephen A. held a funeral on this very show for his beloved Steelers. Is he ready to use the Undertaker gift and bring them back from the dead? And we'll be talking about that bad man, Aaron Rodgers. Is someone on this show not sold just yet on the Packers as a contender?
What a win that was.
Stay tuned. Plenty more to come. But we've got breaking news I want to get to right now. Adam Schefter tweeting that Derrick Henry suffered a potentially season-ending foot injury in yesterday's game versus the Colts. Henry is undergoing an MRI today to determine the full extent of the damage. That, according to our Adam Schefter. Dan, what does this mean for the Titans?
They lost their identity. I mean, Derrick Henry is the identity of this football team. A couple weeks ago, I was on Get Up talking about how this team, skill position-wise, was indifferent than anybody else in the NFL. The physicality, Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry.
Size of the beast.
Now 33% of that is gone. He accounts for 36% of their offense, more than any other player in the NFL. The thing with the Titans that is so unique to them is they never allow the game or the score of the game to dictate who they're going to be. They're down 14 yesterday, or turn around, hand the football off.
And that's why I was ready.
And that's now the identity is gone. Mm-hmm. They cannot go win meaningful football games without Derrick Henry, because Julio Jones is still missing time. Like, Julio Jones is hit or miss with some games as well. A.J. Brown is fantastic, but Derrick Henry, when you hear Tennessee Titans, everyone thinks Derrick Henry. He's the identity of that offense and that football team, and I don't think there's anybody out there that they can go to replace him with. Maybe it's Ronald Jones. Maybe it's Pollard out of Dallas. I don't think Dallas lets him go. But to lose Derrick Henry, he's like losing a starting quarterback.
Well, let me say this to you. Let me put it more succinctly. I think this season, I think this season's over. I don't mean they're going to miss the playoffs. I want to be very, very clear about that. I think they get into the playoffs by default. They've already got a 2-game lead on Indy. And just looking at Indy's schedule, you've got Buffalo, Tampa Bay, New England, Arizona, and the Raiders on your schedule. That's left on the schedule
already?
That's what's left on their schedule. Indianapolis' schedule. So my point is, because it's Indy's schedule, obviously I expect Indy to lose a few of those games. And with Tennessee already having a 2-game lead, I think Tennessee gets to the postseason. When I say this season is over, I'm saying this conversation about them being in the Super Bowl conversation, that is done.
So
you are not going anywhere without Derrick Henry. You will squeak into the postseason, and then you will go home, because Derrick Henry is the Tennessee Titans, period.
And they had just found the formula.
Yeah.
They had just found the formula, beating the teams that had given them problems before. Derrick Henry, when we talk about Derrick Henry, let's go find a big guy, because you're talking about Pollard, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Pollard can hit a home run, but he can't hit between the tackles. Like, Derrick Henry brought the attitude of this football team. We talk about how physical this football team is. That's because of Derrick Henry. And then he brings the explosiveness to it, because he can take it and break it to distance. You go get a big guy, but he maybe won't be able to take it the distance like Derrick Henry. Now you're asking Ryan Tannehill to carry this football team. And Ryan Tannehill, I say that found a combination. He just got back A.J. Brown, and A.J. Brown has been tearing it up.
Killing it.
He's killing it. Yesterday in the game, right? Indy goes up 14, and they come out. This was a must drive. And Tannehill comes out. A.J. Brown runs a route wide open, and he goes to somebody else. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? There's a pecking order to this. If you're not handing the ball off to Derrick Henry, you're looking for Arthur Warren Brown right now. He didn't do that. Now what he will have to do is put everything on him, man. They're going to need Julio back, and it's over. They're not going
terrible.
anywhere.
6-2, getting hot at the right time. Terrible news. In that same game, guys, yesterday the Titans beat the Colts with some help from 2 costly Carson Wentz interceptions, one at the end of regulation and one in overtime that led to the game-winning field goal. Here's Wentz on those errors.
They both hurt me, no doubt. Especially, they were already in field goal range. Felt like, shoot, I trust our defense. I have confidence, but I put them in a bad situation there. As a competitor and probably my hardest critic, you feel that. You definitely feel that weight, and you feel that you let your guys down.
Dan.
Can I go first?
Yeah.
I'd like to go first.
Sure.
Dan, playmaker, I'm done with Carson Wentz. This is the part that bothers me. I want to emphasize, I'm not questioning his talent.
Yeah.
I think the talent is there. And I don't want to call anybody an idiot. But can we say you just do idiotic things? This guy, it's less than a minute and a half remaining. You're 3 yards from your own goal line. And you not only throw an interception when you should have just threw the ball down, but you switch hands and throw it with your left hand and just lob it. I'm just sitting there looking. Listen, this is a guy that was in Philadelphia and for a year and a half was atrocious. We understood that him, Doug Peterson weren't on the same page. Doug Peterson, Howie Roseman weren't on the same page. As a result, the owner, Jeffrey Lurie, said somebody got to get on the damn page. So guess what, Doug Peterson, you're going to be going, plus Carson Wentz, you're going to be going. We're going to let Howie Roseman bring in a new coach. And got Jalen Hurts now since you drafted him. We'll go from there. Your Carson Wentz you get with Frank Reich. Frank Reich made the wrong call, calling the screenplay, and acknowledged that and tried to take the blame for it. We're not buying that because Carson Wentz is not a rookie. He's not a child.
Right.
And the reason why I say that I'm done, how many times in your career as a quarterback, it's bad enough with kickers because you only got one job to do. We know how we feel about them when they miss a game, win the field goal or whatever, right? Or they cost you the game. When you're the quarterback and you walk into a locker room, then playmaker, how many times do you have to walk into a locker room knowing it's you? You made these decisions. You messed up. How many times do you have to do it before you get tired of saying, I'm sorry? You get tired of hanging your head. You get tired of knowing you're the guy. At some point in time, is it too much to ask that you make sure that when y'all lose a game, at least we could be able to say, it wasn't you. It wasn't you. Carson Wentz doesn't do that. There's too many times in his career where he got his head down and he walks into the locker room and he knows he gave a game away. It's too many times, and he doesn't seem to get tired of it. Yeah. That's why I say I'm done with it.
And to your point, this is what bothers me. Now, because I did a Thursday night game with Philly, in Philly, and they won that game. They won the game, and we had Carson Wentz on. And I asked him then, I said, the trying to do too much, trying to extend plays and making mistakes in those plays. Say, do you ever think you'll grow out of that? And I was hoping he would say maybe that I won't lose the physicalness, but what I would do is start making better decisions, knowing when to take those chances. I love what Coach did by Coach saying that was on him because he's trying to cover Carson Wentz. Some Carson Wentz didn't get in Philadelphia, so he can help Carson Wentz saying, hey, I'm with you. Be good, I'm with you. So I love that he did that. But Carson Wentz, he made the right decision. He looked right at the feet and was about to throw that ball away. But changed his mind. And why would you change your mind? Why not just throw the ball away and live to play another day? Yeah. He changed his mind and then made that throw.
What was the answer on Thursday Night Football when you asked him that question? What was his response?
He never said that I'm going to think about the situation before I make the decision. He just said, I don't want to stop being aggressive.
Yeah. Dan,
now, and I want you to be aggressive, but I want you to be calculatingly aggressive.
Correct.
Dan, what is it? What is the problem here? Is he like fearful? Is he timid out there?
I think he's fearless.
Does he not know what to do? Like what? Because he has the talent. Yes. Why does this keep happening?
I think when that moment becomes highly intense, he thinks that there is not a single play that he cannot nor should not make. We have to remember this kid is from a small town, went to a small school. So he's got that mindset of constantly trying to prove. And that there's not a single play on the football field nor a throw on the football field that I cannot make.
Okay.
The interception that it's the backed up in the end zone one, that's a stupid play. Yeah. Okay? I actually think the second interception is worse. Because in that moment, that is a panic play, the interception in the end zone. It's a freak out panic play. It's the same play that he got hurt against the Seattle Seahawks in the playoffs. Screen pass. I don't want to throw it away because that's the right thing for me to do. I can go make a play. No, you can't. No, you can't. The second interception to me is a calculated, I'm throwing this football downfield. The tailback, if you guys can run that second interception back again, the tailback is by himself, wide open. If he throws the ball to the tailback, no, I'm not being hyperbolic here, he might get into field goal range on that single play. No one's within 15 yards of him. That's the one that bothers me the most because it's a predetermined, assumed, I'm throwing this ball downfield. And you got second life. You make the terrible decision, interception. You have the crazy comeback, tie the game. You got a second life. And in that moment, I just want him to realize Clark Kent over Superman. Clark Kent over Superman.
But how's the second interception to you?
Because
I thought I put a little bit on the receiver and not coming across the face.
Because he's got the check down prime. It's 1st and 10. It's hardball play action.
And he didn't take it.
But because in that moment, like I get the first interception's moronic, but he's in his own end zone. If he gets sacked, it's a safety. You got to kick the ball away. Game is over, right? So I get like in that moment him throwing. I had to try to force the throw in the incompletion. I want him to ground it first of all.
Right.
But you have that second life in overtime. And when your coach calls that max play action, for you to throw it into triple coverage, and the tailback is right in front of you wide open, tells me in that moment you're thinking, I got to go beat a guy. And for this season, Carson Wentz has been 2000.
See, I disagree with you. You're saying he's saying in that moment, I got to be the guy.
I got to be a superhero.
And I'm saying he's saying in that moment, I want to be the guy.
Okay.
I don't want somebody else to be the guy. I want it for me.
Yeah.
And what was the problem in Philadelphia when Nick Foles was there and he was there and you had a divided locker room? There were people who loved Nick Foles because Nick Foles followed the game plan. He was more easily coachable in the eyes of Doug Peterson and others and some of those players, not to mention the fact that he wasn't trying to be a hero. Whereas with Carson Wentz, he would go against some things because he was trying to be the hero. That's something you can help. You choose not to.
He's not confident.
You choose not to.
I agree.
And that's putting yourself ahead of the team and the results, which is why I asked her a question, albeit rhetorically, when I said, when do you get tired of laying your head down, walking into the locker room, and feeling like you owe the team an apology because you lost it for them? He doesn't. He's done it too many times. And it's not about his ability. It's about his mindset and this need. It ain't a lack of faith in the players.
Right.
It's that you want to be the hero.
I agree with that, yeah.
That's the problem.
I'm not out on
If he can iron that out, I'm telling you, man, you look at what Indy has, if he can fix that little bit of an issue, and I think it's an issue, no doubt.
I'm not
out on him. If he can fix it, then they got something.
He's completed 62% of his passes this season, 27th amongst quarterbacks.
I think the only place he needs to be is where he is right now.
Yeah.
I'm a rider.
On First Take, does someone on this show still...
It's about this football team being young, and there's going to be days where we look like we should be a playoff team contending for a Super Bowl championship, and then there's going to be days where we don't look like we belong on a football field. That's youth. That's this young team. That's what's growing.
Time for Quick Takes. The Jets beat the Bengals with Mike White as their quarterback. Michael, what does this Jets win tell you, sir?
Well, it tells me that the Bengals, though talented as they are, that they're a young football team, and they have to understand when they climb a little bit up that mountain. Now, the other teams that are trying to climb up that mountain will play them with more intensity, and they have to match that intensity, and they didn't do it yesterday.
The Eagles blew the Lions 44-6. Stephen A., was this win more about the Eagles or the Lions?
The Lions. They're atrocious. We know this. Listen, we're trying, and we've seen them have competitive games. Mm-hmm. Let's face reality. We're looking at a team that has the possibility of going 0-17.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, that is really what it is. I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But we're looking at a team that has the possibility of going 0-17.
Mm-hmm. City of Detroit deserves better. Michael, the Niners beat the Bears, but both Justin Fields and Jimmy G played well. Which quarterback were you more impressed with?
Man, I've said it a million times. I measure men the distance traveled and the distance that Justin Fields traveled, man, and the way he played yesterday. You got to give him all the props in that. I was getting on Ryan last week because Ryan said, I won the argument. No, you didn't win the argument.
They coached him better this week, though, playmaker.
Yesterday was your best day for that argument. I must give it to you. So absolutely Justin Fields.
All right. Stephen A., here come the Steelers. You called the season a wrap in week 3 after a loss to the Bengals, but your Steelers have won 3 straight now, beating the Browns and are a game back in the loss column behind the first place Ravens. Here's Big Ben on a big win in Cleveland.
Woke up this morning, it was a cloudy, gray day, and then the sun came out. I don't remember the last time the sun was shining during a game here, but it sure did feel good to get the win.
RC back here with us. Stephen A., are you buying the Steelers?
Not yet. And listen, I'm happy that they're winning games, but my measuring stick is, winning the division. And being a Super Bowl contender, and that is not what I presume them to be. I believe in their defense. I always have. And even when they struggled at times, I wasn't worried about it. I just said, step up, play better, because I know they have the personnel to do it. Mm-hmm. Offensively, I'm not sold. I know their offensive line looked like they were coming together. They're getting better and better yesterday. Najee Harris, I remember he tried to say something about me a few weeks ago. I'm like, wow, I've always been a fan of Najee Harris. I mean, that brother can ball.
He went to what school he went to?
Alabama. Alabama. Okay, that's my man. I love Najee Harris. You know how excited I was that the Steelers got him, and when he wasn't putting up a chunk of yardage, I didn't blame him. I said, you got an offensive line that can't run block for you. You got a stationary target in Ben Roethlisberger. Last time I checked, that's still the case. And yes, they won the game yesterday. They scored 15 points. What you want me to do? Give them cookies? I mean, please. I'm not sold on their offense. That's my issue with them. You got Deontay Johnson, Juju Smith-Schuster went down. Obviously, he was hurt. You got Chase Claypool, James Washington started the season, didn't want to be there, wanted out, et cetera, et cetera. You still have question marks on the offensive side of the ball. Right now, they're the 26th ranked offense in the National Football League, 24th in yards accumulated, 28th rushing attack in the National Football League. That's not something to write home about, particularly when you're in the same division as Cleveland, Baltimore, and Cincinnati. And as an aside, Cincinnati, my God. I mean, I know you never saw the brother before. You didn't have tape on him. But some dude that never quarterbacked before, you give up 405 passes.
Can't do that.
Just when I got excited about the Cincinnati Bengals, you go and wet the bed like that, okay?
Maybe it was a trap game.
You know, these fools, they was in there because they was getting on an argument to trolling me on social media because of Lamar Jackson versus Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Newsflash, yesterday wasn't about Joe Burrow. It was about a defense that gave up 405 yards to a first-time starter in the National Football League. That's what it was about.
Is it more about the fact that you went, Joe Burrow over Lamar Jackson, or that I was right? I'm just trying to figure out. I'm just trying to figure out which part is.
I don't know if we know you're right, because I know that Lamar Jackson is a superstar and an incredible playmaker. I'm just talking about the quarterback position. I want to trust your accuracy as a passer, and I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
Period. That's where I'm at.
I just like to point out when I'm right.
I'm just
playmaker said I was right.
But to close, to get back to the Steelers again with the Steelers. I'm not sold on their offense, and I'm not going to change my position until they convince me.
Just the consistency of that offense, And now listen, when they got Chase Claypool back, he makes a difference on that offense.
That's right.
Yep. He makes a difference, and you can see that they have some young talent around Ben. They really do have some young talent around Ben. Chase Claypool and Najee Harris, man. But to consistently expect that offense to move the ball up and down the field and score touchdowns, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. DeAndre Johnson, he is playing well. He got targeted 10 times yesterday. He's becoming a front runner in that offense, man. And they're running the football. But, boy, they got a great defense.
Yes.
A great defense. And all the trouble that we talked about all day, what's going on in the AFC, I can see where people start saying, well, a little hope here. But I just don't see enough consistency in the offense scoring.
Ryan, who's the bigger threat to the Ravens now? Would you say it's the Bengals or Steelers?
No, I think it's Pittsburgh Steelers because of the way they can play defense, right? Okay. The Bengals are inconsistent. The one thing about the Pittsburgh Steelers is when healthy, when full, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is the most consistent thing in the AFC North. It's not the Baltimore Ravens offense, not the Cincinnati Bengals, not the Cleveland Browns. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. And now that you're starting to get a running game, when you watch this team play yesterday, when you watch this team play last week or 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago against the Broncos, you saw the interior of this offensive line start to create holes for Najee Harris. And I'm going to be honest, I was a guy that said to myself, Najee Harris is not a difference maker. Najee Harris is not one of these backs that change your team. He's actually started to do that. He's actually changed the physicality in which they play. And Matt Canada now knows, when you look at 26 carries yesterday, Matt Canada now knows this is how we win.
Right.
Think about this, and it's been my fault, and Stephen A. is totally a victim of this, right? The thing that he always comes on here and talks about Mike Tomlin and says how great of a coach he is, he often forgets this when we ask these questions, and I forgot it a little bit earlier this season. The man ain't had a losing season, right? The man has figured out how to win games, and it seems like he's starting to turn this thing around in Pittsburgh. I wouldn't be surprised if the Pittsburgh,
What am I a victim of?
Of forgetting that.
I forget. I forget that they win.
Hey, man, come on. What? Hey, what's your name?
Michael.
What's your name?
Molly.
I said Stephen A, didn't I? What I say, playmaker? Hold on. What I say, Stephen A, huh?
He said, this man won a Super Bowl with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you call him out more than me? I called you a traitor. How you switch that narrative. He's trying to be slick. Excuse me. Who called you the traitor? Who was that? That would be me. Because you on these airways going off about the. No, I'm not always wrong.
I just tell the truth.
Excuse me. I've got at least 3 occasions this season where you've been wrong. Don't get me started, okay? But I've always told you too hard on the Steelers, and now you're trying to act like it's me. It's me.
But you turn your back on them. I'm hard on them. You turned your back on them. You're sitting up here watching the Pittsburgh Steelers progress, watching Mike Tomlin give you a coaching masterpiece, and you forgetting that? Oh, I don't believe in him.
I don't believe in the offense. I don't believe in the offense.
You're wrong. This team has an opportunity to be a playoff contender.
Who tries to bring you over? If they no longer.
Who did it first? It was you.
I don't remember.
If the Steelers no longer ask Ben to make the plays to win the game, just don't make the plays to lose the game.
That's what they're asking now.
Now they got a shot. If they can do that, he can be kind of like, like Peyton Manning did his last Super Bowl.
You know what? You're having a case on a Monday.
I'm trying to give you some hope.
Whatever.
I'm trying to give you some hope.
Mike, he don't want hope.
RC needs to go.
He wants to be against the
other
Steelers.
television programs to join.
I'm telling you,
we do have to have a separate segment as to why Ryan be walking in with these shirts that look like he's preaching. Like, he's going to church or whatever. We got to talk about that. Not today, though. Not today, though. Not today, though.
You can do that when you have a neck. Stephen A ain't got no neck.
Right.
So he can't wear these.
Okay. Can we go to break? Y'all are unbelievable. Still to come on First Take. More Cowboys, of course, following their shocking win over the Vikings. Michael,
I just want to let the world know I'm ready to go. We're taking the house right now. The victims roll on through. You want some more? Just roll on through. Come get some more. I'm not scared of Tim Tebow. I'm not scared of Michael Irvin or Keyshawn. Something must be wrong.
You were wrong.
What?
You were wrong.
What? Come on.
I'm taking Dak Prescott.
Oh my God.
Stephen A's wearing a crimson tie.
Oh, Stephen A.
What? You done lost your mind. You hear me with your mouth and not with his ear. Listen with his ear, not with the mouth.
I think you're getting nervous.
Roll on through. You want some more? Just roll on through. Come get some more. We're taking the house. An accident coming. I see it coming. All y'all have started something.
All right. I love that. Shout out to DJ Porter.
It's all right. I just have a problem with him lying.
That you're wrong?
I'm wrong. Please, I'm right most of the time.
Say it, Michael.
Do I have a perfect record? No. But I'm right 90% of the time.
And that's 500.
Please. That's number one. Number two, and more importantly, it's okay because I want to remind everybody of a bet. You brought up the bet that Michael Irvin and I have had. And we have a bet. And if the Dallas Cowboys win the Super Bowl championship, is it get to the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl? Which one is it? Is it get to the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl?
Well, we were just saying go to so far.
All right,
you're going to do all
I have to go to his house. And I have to clean up his house in a damn apron.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Which will never happen. It will never.
And guess what? You don't have to hire a camera crew because I'll be there to film it. Free of charge. I'll pay for my own flight.
This is what my.
Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to charge all Cowboy fans $10 to come on in my pearly gates and just watch. You can make a boatload of money.
Michael, let's do VIP passes.
A boatload.
Listen, this is how they'll never take me up on it. So they'll never take me up on it. But so be it. But I've said to Michael Irvin, because he was on Stephen A's World on ESPN Plus, and he asked me the question, and I said to him, not only would I clean your house, I'd MC the Cowboy Parade.
Oh yeah, we will.
I said they would never allow it. They would never. That because it'll never happen. Yeah. I'll never have to do that.
That's why I'm not even worried about on the bus.
I'll walk. I'd walk.
That's why I offered you a ride on the bus.
He tried to save you. It's okay.
I'd walk first.
He tried.
I was saying I've been a bit disingenuous though because I was talking about I'd walk from New York. The Super Bowl would be at SoFi. But the bottom line is I already got a crib in LA, so I could just walk from LA. I can just do that, but it won't happen.
Okay, thanks Hollywood for that detail about your 10 homes.
I'm not concerned.
Michael, I'm looking at you though. Even you had to be surprised, right? What Cooper Rush did?
My love for the Cowboys run deep. Make no mistake about it. And I try to see the best parts of it, even when things are bad, because I know that hope is the greatest thing a man can have. And even I couldn't see yesterday. Even I couldn't see it.
You're
there was
such
no
a liar.
way. There was no way I expected Cooper Rush to go in and not just get the win, but get the win this way. Get the win, and we didn't depend on him at all. That's one thing. All he did was turn around and hand the ball off, and the defense played great defense. That's one thing. But to ask him to go Cooper to Cooper, to make plays.
That should have been an interception.
Cooper to Cooper. That ain't what it is, though. That ain't what it is.
Bounce right off the dude's chest.
That ain't what it is.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Unbelievable.
At a meaningful moment. The quarterback job is not to make the perfect throw, but to give the receiver an opportunity to make a play. And he did that. Threw for over 300 yards. He's the only man in the modern NFL history in starting his NFL debut to throw for over 300 yards in a game-winning touchdown under a minute. The only one. You couldn't have expected that. We couldn't have expected that. But to get it was incredible, insane. And right now, that was the last problem the Cowboys had to worry about. I told you they have the union already. The last issue was, what if something happens to Dak?
Yeah.
Not long term, but just what if something happens to Dak in this tight race? Man, Cooper Rush to the podium.
They defeated that
with
enemy,
the great
Stephen
answer.
A.
First of all, he's such a liar. Michael Irvin is lying.
What?
They were going up against Kirk Cousins. Don't tell me that you were sitting up there going like this. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. Listen, him, Pastor A.R. Bernard Christian Cultural Center in Brooklyn, New York. Those are my peeps. You understand? We understand. All I'm trying to say is Michael Irvin, because he sit up there and hears the gospel being spewed by T.D. Jakes. All of a sudden, he comes here on Monday mornings trying to sound like that. You know good and damn well that you didn't expect Kirk Cousins to go out there, I don't know how much of a chance we got. Stop it, okay? Yeah. Because you know this is exactly the kind of game Kirk Cousins would lose. He'll sit up there and he won't make but so many mistakes, all right? But he doesn't make things happen. 7% on third downs? 7% on third down.
Yeah.
One for 13. What was it? That's just atrocious, okay? So we understand that. And all I'm saying is this. You got this cupcake schedule. This schedule that the Dallas Cowboys have practically the rest of the way will put my sister's cooking to shame. This is better cupcakes than she'd make, okay? This is absolutely ridiculous, but it's okay. It's okay because I understand after your years of suffering, you had to go through this, but all I'm telling you is this. You're 6-1. You're 6-1. Right. I expect you to be at least 10-1 before you even have a challenge. And when that happens and y'all start singing it, keep stirring it up. Y'all can't handle prosperity. That's when y'all go forward. That's the old
Dallas Cowboys. That's the old Dallas Cowboys. The old Dallas Cowboys couldn't handle it. This Dallas Cowboys is a different team. This is a different team. And let me just say this. Let me end with this here now. Just remember now, that Cowboys defense, they held them season lows across the board. Vikings, season low pass yards. Kirk Cousins, season low. And you just mentioned the third down, season low.
That ain't who they're going to have to play. That ain't who they're going to have to play for the playoffs.
We got to leave it
there.
They
held teams to season lows without even getting turnovers. That defense.
Stephen A. is still betting that they'll sabotage themselves. All right, with the news that Derrick Henry is out for the season.
Someone does slow down Devontae Adams. I don't know nobody has right now. Where are you going?
Touchdown run, and it was all Aaron Jones.
Sooner or later in the NFL, you're going to have to do something else.
I got rocks, but I heard it was a pretty nice catch.
Will Aaron Rodgers be able to adjust to that something else when they get into playing better teams and they're taking away Devontae Adams?
Touchdown, Randall Cobb.
He's going to need his defense to make some stop.
Murray throws, Packers get the dagger.
What a great story. How special is this game?
Aaron Rodgers just reminding folks, beating those undefeated at the time Cardinals down 3 receivers. And Michael Irvin, you know how important the wide receiver position is, the Hall of Famer playmaker. Earlier, you didn't really believe in the Packers. Have you changed your mind now? Are you sold on them?
I sat here and I said that I needed to see another element from the Packers, and way they can move the ball consistently and and if somebody took Devontae Adams out, Devontae Adams, COVID took Devontae Adams out.
Yeah.
And the Packers showed me something. They showed me a running game. That they didn't show that running game prior to that Arizona game on Thursday night, playing without Devontae Adams, you know. And let me tell you why I wasn't sold and still hinging a little bit right now. When I was saying all of this, you guys were looking at Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers, he's great. But I was looking at that defense. And that defense, especially the red zone defense, they were giving up anytime anybody got in the red zone, they scored. They were like 100%. Now, that Washington game, they stopped the Washington football team. So that changed the percentage. I think they dropped about 30. But for Green Bay to win that game they won the other night in that fashion with the play in the red zone, in the defense, making the play with the interception, oh, my God, that was big for them. That was big. But by the same token, Arizona didn't have their top dude, D-Hop. And no matter what we say, if A.J. Green, I feel so sorry for him. If he'd have gotten the check, if he would have gotten that check, he could have turned around. He would have made that play.
There's no excuse for a wide receiver.
Would have won that game.
There's no excuse for a wide receiver in that position and not turn around and look for the ball. None.
Yeah, but no, he thought it was a run. See, what happened is Kyler Murray gave a check because they had the guys in the box. He saw one-on-one. He's looking at the big screen. And of course, the quarterback's looking through the wide receiver to the quarterback. And if he, oh my God, I felt for him because I know he must have stared a hole in the ceiling at night because he had the opportunity to serve his team with D-Hop out. He's the number 2. Now he becomes the number 1.
I love A.J. Green.
He didn't make that play.
I love A.J. Green.
I promise you he stared
I love
at that
A.J. Green.
all
I
night.
just think about there could have been a running play. There could have been Emmitt Smith in that backfield, and the play could have been called for him. I find it impossible to believe that somebody in your position would not have turned around at least to see the play and notice that it wasn't a run after all. In that particular situation with the game on the line, I just find that impossible to believe. I think that A.J. Green being contaminated from his years in Cincinnati, you understand what I'm saying?
I totally understand
not accustomed
what
to
you're
being
saying.
in winning situations will find himself in a situation where you're not even looking for the football. Come on, man. I just don't buy that. That's number 1. Number 2, let me say this to you. You're missing the big picture of all of this and what has transpired. You see, when you see that bad man, Aaron Rodgers.
Found a way to win the game.
Found a way. I didn't believe he'd do it because listen, Devontae Adams was out.
Right.
Alan Lazard was out.
Right.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling was out.
Right.
Number 1, number 2, and number 3 receivers was out. And Tunyon, towards ACL, he's out.
Yeah, God bless him.
Okay, God bless him.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. You still found a way to win. Now, my point is this. All of those brothers ain't going to be gone come playoff time. You see, what I took from the game is there's another team that's going to take out the Cowboys. You see, you ain't going against Kirk Cousins. Listen to me, man. Listen to me. This is what I'm trying to say. This is beautiful. I mean, listen.
You have a beautiful mind.
I'm watching this. I'm telling you, listen, I'm at FAMU. You understand? I'm in the hotel. I'm at FAMU. You understand? Actually, I'm sorry. I'm at the bar across the street. FAMU is a good game. I'm watching it there. You know what I'm saying? The people at the bar were wonderful. They put up the big screen. The Knicks were beating Chicago. Right here and right next to it was Green Bay, Arizona. And I'm watching this game. And I'm sitting there like, look at this, brother. About to pull this bad boy out. I can't believe it. And then I think about all 3 of those receivers being gone. And I'm like, they're not going to be gone come playoff time. And you see, the Dallas Cowboys ain't going to be going against Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones and Jalen Hurts. Oh, no. I mean, it's going to be something. And I'm just watching. And I'm like, that's beautiful, man.
As Green Bay. And I ran into Cobb in the
Randall Cobb was ball. And
I said to Cobb, I said, hey, man. He said, I know what you're going to say. He said, I know already, because he already knows.
Why do they even talk to you? Why do they even talk to you?
What do you mean why they talk to me? I said, Cobb, we're going to need somebody else to make play. He said, I already been talking to them about it, Mike, but I'm not mad. The time will come. I said, will you be able to step up and make plays? he did step up and make the plays.
He's spoken into existence. Can I get in a commercial break?
Okay, fine, but they shouldn't be talking to you.
Why they shouldn't be
You
talking
don't want
to
them to win. You talk about your Cowboys.
No,
you don't
I'm
care
telling
about
them
them.
the truth.
They shouldn't be
I'm telling
talking to
them the
you
truth.
at all.
I told
At all.
Carl
They
he
should
was
just
gonna
ignore you. Go ahead, Molly. They should just ignore you.
Coming up, breaking news, Adam Schefter tweeting that Derrick Henry suffered a potentially season-ending foot injury in yesterday's game versus the Colts. Henry is undergoing an MRI today to determine the full extent of the damage, that according to Schefter. The Titans now have the best record in the AFC, and being on top in the AFC hasn't been a comfortable place to be. For the fourth straight week, the team holding the top seed in the conference has changed hands. The prior three teams to hold the number one AFC seed lost their next game. Can the first place Titans break that streak now, possibly without Derrick Henry? Our Jeremy Fowler is reporting that Adrian Peterson is currently traveling to Nashville as we speak to meet with the Titans. This first reported by NFL Network, where you can always check out Michael Irvin. Stephen A., how does Henry's injury impact the AFC landscape?
Well, first of all, I don't think it impacts the AFC landscape much. I mean, we had Tennessee going to the postseason. I don't think that changes. Okay. We had them ultimately going home probably before the AFC Championship game. I don't think that changes. I just think that we're more definitive with that being the results that are going to be down the pike. They had a chance to go to the AFC Championship game and stuff like that. We don't view them in the same light without Derrick Henry. Love Adrian Peterson, future Hall of Famer, one of the great running backs to ever bless this game. But we all know that his best days are behind him, and he is no Derrick Henry. And so when you look at it from that perspective and the fact that this guy accumulates 36% of their offense and what have you, even though they've got other weapons with the Julio Jones, the A.J. Browns, guys like that, Derrick Henry is the franchise for the Tennessee Titans. And the fact that he is out with this injury, I think, again, they still go to the playoffs because Indy's got a tough schedule the rest of the way, and they're already 2 games behind, and I don't see them catching Tennessee. But I think Tennessee squeezes into the playoffs, and then they go home without Derrick Henry. It's that simple to me.
Yeah, definitely go home without Derrick Henry. Now, before we got this news and with Derrick, he was there, I had them as, right now, one of the top team in the AFC. I mean, they just beat the top teams in the AFC. You know, they beat Buffalo. They beat those teams. They beat the Chiefs and beat them handily. It was a great game because Buffalo was a great game. So with Derrick Henry, yeah, I had them able to go to the Super Bowl. And that's what makes this so sad. They've been trying to get over the hump of those teams, and they finally beat those teams in the regular season and can take that confidence into the postseason. But now Derrick Henry.
I will say this. Here's what's compelling. It's a couple of things. Number one, how good are you, A.J. Brown? Yeah. How good are you, Ryan Tannehill? Julio Jones, do you still have it? And last but not least, and perhaps the biggest question, Mike Vrabel. We expected a lot from you because defense is your signature. Now, that's on the offensive side of the ball. But defensively, can your boys step up and handle their business to sort of help offset the loss of a Derrick Henry? We're going to find out a lot about the Tennessee Titans as a team because we always knew what they could be because of Derrick Henry. Yeah. Now that he's gone, what you got? We can find that out.
Giants-Chiefs, Monday Night Football tonight on ESPN2. It'll be Peyton and Eli. Michael Irvin will be joining the broadcast. Is there any chance my G-men pull off the upset against Kansas City?
No.
Let me tell you something. Absolutely
10
not.
seconds.
Absolutely not.
Did you say not? Did you say absolutely not?
Absolutely
no chance.
Not. No chance.
No chance.
No chance.
No chance. They don't have no weapons. They don't have enough weapons.
Oh, look what you did with Aaron Rodgers. You made a big mistake.
He got an The Chiefs got an attitude. That's number one. The Chiefs got an attitude. Number two, because everybody's been trashing them. Right. And number three, you don't deserve for them to win. You don't deserve it, Molly. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. That's right. Walk off. Walk off, Benedict Arnold.